Hello, my name is Teresita Blanco de Sister, and we're continuing with Saturnastra Deasura. This is chapter 5. Before seeing Clotilda, I have received a separate instruction from Robert. He told me that as an apprentice, I had to keep my ears peeled for any interesting information. And getting the gist of it, I knew that the bastard wanted me to do a little spy work while I was out. Spying is a second nature to my people, so it's no problem to memorize and sort through jungle of information and filter out the pulp from the juice and to get the heart of the matter. And since it seemed like I was not going to get paid anytime soon, I wanted to travel that same day and explain my situation. I'm leaving. About time, said Robert, looking up. I am taking your strong box and your shoes, I said, removing my armband, and I stretched it out like magicians do and made the strong box disappear inside of it. And this made Robert pay attention to me, and he said, annoyed, put it back. And holding his feet, I said, I am taking your shoes as well. And he kicked me aside and said, what's wrong with you, lunatic? You owe me money, and I have been doing your guys' work for 2 months, and I have seen a dime, and enough is enough, and I'm taking what is rightfully mine, plus interest, and some more as well, to teach what happens when you withhold your salary, I said, pouting. He then lifted me up, and he placed me on the table like you do a toddler, and shaking his head, he said, what is this really about? It is about you not keeping your end of the bargain, and the twins told me that since this was not sponsorship, food and shelter and education were meant to be free, and since you're charging me for them and not paying me for my service, you're technically cheating. And if you continue to cheat me out of my hard-earned dough, I will bring it up to Bersamin himself, I said, raising my voice. You don't know Bersamin or anyone of power. And just what you know, and I know Leo and Belladonna and the crazy Queen Librana and Sterling Guy. And all I have to do is send a missive and it'll be all your heads on pike. Now give me my money before I get really angry, I said, shaking my fist. And before I can pay you, you must tell me what service you have provided for us and merit a salary, said Rabble calmly. Well, I said life once. That's gotta be worth something, I said, thinking. My dear Deasura, didn't you almost get him killed once as well when he touched you by accident? So that deed cancels out, you see, said Rabble. I cooked for you guys a couple of times, I said, pouting. And Rabble reached into his pocket and he brought out 2 coins, and giving them to me, he said, that just about covers the meals. I also babysat Ruda when he said he was going out to buy magic stones, I said, slamming my feet against the table. That is worth something. He gave me 10 more coins. In the end, I returned the strong box minus the coins I had stolen cause of emotional distress. And it was agreed that I would help in the development and sales of religious icons instead of studying math, reading history, and I would skip those classes to work on my sewing. And Rabbi said as long as I provided my own supplies and work, he would see about uploading my finished product in exchange of a lion's share. And he also promised to sell the stupid cheese I kept going on about. And it wasn't the ideal solution, but it was a start. And I had some money to send to my brothers and sisters, and on that side note, at night I decided to participate in duels for cash as well as visiting the gambling houses. Indeed, a life city provided me more opportunities, my dear Imperator. I recently finished my dancing and singing classes, and these classes seemed pertinent since I needed to learn what is considered fashionable in both aspects. And plus music and song are indispensable skills in battle, though if I told Clotilda why I was taking these classes in earnest, she would laugh at me. And these classes got me into contact with the other girls, and they were plain looking enough, and the tomboy short hair did not help them much. And just like the men were disguised as women, the priestesses had to wear dress like men while out on the street. And it was designed to protect them from unwanted advances, and it also considered an anathema for women to try to outshine the goddess's beauty. And the true reason had to do with the nature of Erua. And being an ameba goddess, it is common in nature for men to do the peacocking thing, so women in decent were expected to be of duller tones. And a lot of dances involving the mimicry and the natural movements of the lesser goddess who were schooling around Erua. The first of the dances to be learned was called Circle, and as the title implies, the center feeder set the pace of the other dancing maidens, and at the times this person would change styles altogether or start making random movements. and the other dancers were supposed to respond in kind, and it was a nice breezy sort of mess, idea for working up a good sweat, and it's an offshoot of a trendy carol dances in the day. And all their more athletic displays were reserved for the elven circle, who still remember the good old days before culture and civility were forever torn by the cruel blade of war. Ah, that sounded nice. The person guiding our little group was a whimsical girl named Sonia, and she was the only one of the group who made the short hair to look good, and she made her business to mess with the newcomers by naturally changing the routine far too often. And with her, it was a fast kind of game, and it reminded me a bit of my play fights, and in the end it was down to just me and her. And by locking my eyes with her, we continued our macabre dance till her human flesh surrendered to my inhuman stamina. It was a war she could not hope to win. And on a side note, I have not received any letters from Muna lately, which is a bit odd. Last night I started my first nightly walk, and it was a bit of a short-lived one because of the lesser goddesses I let her leave for my intention. And as soon as I got out of my room, I was intercepted by Rabo, and Johnny, he commented, "You are proving to be more trouble than your worst." "And I am worth plenty if you would try out my little scheme," I said, starting to head out. "I am not opposed to you going out as soon as you are sorted about it, and any of your indiscretion will cause leave and many unnecessary grievances," said Rabo. And looking at him from head to toe, I noticed that he was dressed like a commoner, and I then commented, "Now where are you off to?" "Nowhere, and I just happened to be passing by when I heard Leaf ordering the boys to keep an eye on you, so I will give you the heads up, seeing as though you're useful to me today," said Rabo, walking away. And slowly I followed behind to the open hallway decorated colors and streaks of cedar curtains, and flowing gently cold in the oceanic breeze, and at the rate things were going, some of the pools might end up freezing. Taking out Bravo's advice, I changed my look and put it on the blue rose Mona had given to me, and it was the first time I had bothered to wear them, and I was saving them for a special occasion. And I darkened my hair to a deep brown and shortened it, and placed hair bands over my eyes and around my face too, and they were supposed to suppress or mask my powers, and instead it did not seem to do anything remotely magical or useful. And it was quite disappointing, really, but it is the thought that counts. The disguise worked so well that I was stopped by for trespassing property, and I was forced to reveal my true self. "Hey, it's me, guys." And his Eminence has forbidden you to exit at this time of night, said one of the guards. "And I am getting pretty tired of leaving his rules, and I will go where I please and when I please, and neither you nor anyone else has the power in this world to stop me," I said, stomping my foot on the ground. "That cannot be. We are responsible for you while you live here, and the city is dangerous for a girl like yourself," said the young man. "Fine, you want to be like that? Try and stop me if you can," I said, running on top of the water like a common basilisk. And the water started glowing slightly phosphorescent blue as the tiny schools of lesser goddess partially manifested, and the effect followed me as I left the temple, and then dissipated as soon as I entered the streets. And they suddenly were the little mischievous little credence, and the city at night wore a different face, and it was no wonder the people in the temple did not want me to walk alone at night. Between the streetwalkers, the beatings, the murders, the drunks, etc., I scurried back to the temple after half an hour of being outside, and I tried twice again to see if there was any fortune to be made, but the gambling houses were by membership only, and one had to pay a fortune to just lose a fortune, and the bar scenes were too wild, and every person I chanced to adore simply laughed it off. Oh, Young Paoli, another failed enterprise. And so the legit way was not going, but I tried to enter a few houses to see what I could steal. However, the manners were really misleading, like a bad scene from Lazarus' Torment. In fact, too many nobles were pretending to be rich, while in reality they were almost paupers. And getting inside the castle was not an easy task either, and the tiny dragon lookouts kept spotting me. And so, in the end, my dear young Polly, the city promises plenty, but it does not give, but it rarely gives. And defeated I went towards the harbor, and I saw the ships lazily passing by, and while the faint silhouettes were painted by the pale ring light, and I was going to ride moonlight, but there was no moon out, and just to be fancy, a pale icy ring that circles its planet. And sometimes in the morning there is a bizarre effect caused when the sun passes in front of the rings, and the light gets all sparkly like. Anyhow, I saw some men trying to move their cargo off the boat, and due to an incidental mistake, one of the boxes fell on the water, and after much cursing and fighting, the cargo was forsaken, and this gave me an idea. I could go underwater and salvage the cargo and visit the shipwrecks at night. and depending on what I find, I will unload it with rubble or break it up or transform it into something useful. And there are also pearls I can harvest from the ocean or something. Month 2, day 20, year 3. Dear Karina, I found your cryptic message on the monolith, and I left on the ground and at the time you mentioned in the allotted cache, and see if that to see that you disperse where it is most needed. P.S. And can you use your sources and see what's happened to Caldeon? And he was supposed to be delivering my mail letters to Muna, but I have not seen him as of late. And enclosed in the envelope is a drawing of a dragon as well as some scale fibers and other items he has stashed. And if you can't find him, how about he look for him? And I'm worried something may have happened to him or Muna. Month 2, day 21, year 3. Dear Karina, I do not know why you're so interested in Muna, and she's just one of the regular people from one of those homes we never visited, and I met her during my daily wanderings. And I know that only brother was allowed to wander, but I always took care to use a safe road to find my way back, and I met her in the library, and she was looking through all of the pages quickly and not really grasping anything per se. Kind of like the way, whenever you want to truly read something or whatever, and we spoke a bit, and at time we became friends. And she's always really nice to me and gives me lots of presents. And it's not a fish love in the least, and I never got what that meant, but whatever. And I have been exchanging letters with her since I got here, and keeping up like little pen pal tradition. And it is a silly game, I know. Still, it is a nice change of pace from simply exchanging memories or talking. And she knows a lot about my father, but not much of my father, and more than once she tried to guide me home, but my father's guardians did not allow her to take me. And I do not know why they're so paranoid of strangers. I guess it takes a lot longer for their kind to build up a sense of trust. And in answer to the other inquiry, the letters are being delivered by the dragon Caldeon, and he gets around in a similar fashion as to my brother, so it's no biggie for him to create his own temporary pass and deliver my mail to Muna. And if you see Caldeon, you should give Muna my personal letter over here, and you will see just what a nice person she truly is. Month 2, day 21, year 3. Dear Licto, business has been progressing rather well, and I have been able to send a significant sum of money and gifts to Karina on a weekly basis, and it is not the desired amount, but it's a start, I suppose. And recently I acquired a nice-looking saber, and I never gave up entirely on the dueling idea. And while I was out in the docks a couple of hours, I got challenged by a trampy-looking woman dressed in a male outfit, and even inside these sheaths, her rapier had an acrid smell of fresh blood. And she said, "You stole from me, and I desire satisfaction." No, I haven't. Everything I got has either been gifted to me or has been found on the floor. Just because you lost something and I found it does not mean I stole it. And besides, this place does not have a lot of lost and found rules, so I say it's mine, and let's just leave it at that. I said, standing up. "Do you have any idea who you're talking to?" asked the woman. "Do you have any idea who you're talking to?" I said, matching her haughty tone. And she started, I don't care who you are, and when I change my disposition, and if you wish to fight, let our swords do the talking. Mine, by the way, only speaks Creole, I said, taking out my beryllium copper rapier. And the blade had a nice golden sheen to it, but not as strong as gold, and the handle and sheath were made of decorated pink quartz inlaid with round white pearls. And the lookout and the killian and the hands were made of silver and tiny diamonds, and the pommel was large and solid jade stone. And I had crafted the blade with material I had found on the water, and I must say I am damn proud of my rapier. The rules are simple, tip for tat, whoever gets struck first wins. Ready or not, let's go, I said, starting to poke at the assailant. And out of reflex, she grabbed my shoulder, and pulling back, I yelled, "I win." "Wait, what?" said the woman, alarmed. "You heard me. Whoever gets struck first wins, and I got struck first, so I win," I said, laughing. Some other sailors who were lazily watching the show said, "Yeah, the little missus won." "You know the rules of dueling, Lorraine. The challenger gets to set the rules, and you're fair and square," said their fellow. "But I never lose," said Lorraine, falling back against a beam, and she was dumbfounded at how stupidly she had lost her duel, and it was all because I had flipped it on her. And as per the rules of dueling, Lorraine was supposed to fork over her rapier and apologize for her transgression. And she gave me her soul, but did not apologize. Apparently she did not know how to ask for forgiveness. Month 2, day 22, year 3. Dear Primate Almond, I started my day as usual with my morning libations, and myself prepared breakfast, and I do not trust the meals prepared by the cooks, and after feasting on one of the fresh plankton and kelp, I opened the morning paper, which rested on the library, and this was subscribed to a lot of newspapers from different cities and hosts, and he thought to keep himself informed by reading this pile of garbage with the exception of a few publications from Veragero. And it was the only city with more than one newspaper, and with a growing population of 2 million, there was more than enough room for 2 newspapers to thrive. In the midst of Morning Weekly Tribune, there was a quick publication describing the events that had occurred the night before, and being weekly, it is rare for it to publish anything on a weekday basis, and usually when it did, it was only to cover one story, and it came in the form of a single pamphlet, and it gave embellished description of my duel against Lorraine. And according to the drunks and a few dragons and other eyewitnesses, Lorraine had been defeated by a little witch girl with short hair and a piercing silver eyes, and she had a burning rapier and a blue rose decorated with many gemstones and pearls. And some of the men claimed that I used some weird magic to tamper with the results of the duel, and others said that they shot me so lightly. All in all, the story was a real mess. Alright, let's just leave this chapter here. Bye-bye and God bless.